Hi everyone, here we go. I hope everyone is having a great day. Happy Thursday, and welcome to another episode of the Vocal Exercise Bootcamp. This time it's episode number 3 already. So today I have a really good exercise for you. Hi everyone, let me just know that you're here, and then we'll get started right away. Okay, so can someone give me a sign that you're on here? This is a little weird today. I don't know why. But anyway, I think everything is working. It should be. Hi, Rino. It's good to see you. So, before we get started, I want to always make sure that you know that before you do any training for your voice, of course, we know you should be warmed up. So you can, by the way, get some free warm-ups from my website, masteryourvoice.tv. There's a 5-minute free warm-up that you can download it. If you just go to the page free stuff, there's a 5-minute quick warm-up. And if you want to go more into depth, there's also a 30-minute warm-up. That's an audio program. If you scroll down, there's also a bunch of other free resources, but I urge you strongly that before you really do any working out for your voice, you really get a warm-up done so that then you're not going to hurt your voice. Okay, today's exercise will be to help you more aware of opening up your throat, opening up the sound, lifting the soft palate. A lot of my students always say, how do you depress? How do you lower your tongue? I think the soft palate and what's opposite, the back of your tongue, really works together. You can't just move one without the other. They're antagonists. So, hi David, it's good to see you here. I will answer all of your questions at the end of this, and please only ask questions that refer to the exercise and to the issues we talked about today here in this live stream, okay? I want it to be relevant for everyone who's going to come in after the live and who's going to just use the video as a resource. So I know that it's not easy to really feel where's my soft palate and what about the pharynx and the pharyngeal space there, which is like your whole throat area. How do I even move it? And part of your singing training should always consist of learning to press all the buttons, learning to operate each one of those elements and all the parts involved. So how do you move the larynx? How do you move the pharynx, the soft palate, the tongue, the tip of your tongue, the lips, the face, your whole support mechanism, the inhaling, the expanding of the rib cage, and so on. So really learning how to move every little part really will help you to target for a specific sound. And of course, we always want a more open sound that is not too narrow, not too nasal, not too pressed or strained. That usually doesn't sound good and doesn't have a nice resonance with nice high overtones, but it usually sounds very brassy or, just metallic and not pleasant. So this exercise is supposed to help you feel those parts. So first, speak the word with me. It's Gung. So in German, there's actually a word that's G-A-N-G and it's pronounced Gung, but I typed it out in the title as G-U-N-G because in English, the U is more like a ah. Gung. So it's a nice open ah preceded by a G, 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 G. So, of course, you don't have a glottal attack, but you have a closed, it's not a closed throat sound. It is not a nasal sound. And G is actually, the G is actually not a voiced sound. The NG at the end, however, is a voiced nasal sound. However, as we already talked about in last week's lesson, you can make a nasal sound without closing off your throat completely, but only closing those parts that are relevant for really shaping that vowel. So let me go over the G first. Then I'm going to move on to the A and then to the NG. And then I'm going to give you pitches to sing that on. So it's actually quite lengthy today because there's a lot of parts. It's not an easy exercise. So the exercise will be gung, 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 gung. Gung, 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 and so on. So however high or low you want to take it. Gung, 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 gung. So what is really important, as you could see, is that we keep the jaw pretty much in place. You don't want to go gung, 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 gung. See how even the ah isn't really open, although I've opened my jaw wider on the ah. It's because in my throat I was too closed, and that is the challenge in this exercise. So let's practice the g opening up to an ah. So if you just speak an ah, like ah, 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 and have a nice ah position, drop jaw. Not extremely wide, but just a nice, relaxed, open ah. And then from there, you want the soft palate to meet the back of your tongue so that you're still in an ah position everywhere else, but you're just shaping back here, like in the front of your throat, this part right here. You're just shaping the G there. So it's ah, ga, 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 ga. See how my lips, the front of my tongue, the middle of my tongue is not really affected by changing from an ah to the G. It's really just the back. I can feel my soft palate, and then what's opposite my soft palate, the back of my tongue, I feel those meet. They come together. However, what's further back in the throat, the pharyngeal area, I can actually stay open. So instead of ga, 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 I can go ga, 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 ga. It's really just that I just explained, that soft palate and opposite the soft palate that meets and then comes right back to the open position, okay? Really important to get that without moving the jaw. That's the whole point of the exercise. Do not move the jaw so you learn to operate and to move those parts without incorporating the jaw, which isn't really helping. So once you got from the ga, from the G to the ah, you then close again to the NG, which is, it's almost like a G, but it's prolonged and it's voiced. So, gang, 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 gang. Okay? So try to speak it first before we sing it. Gang, gang, gang. And the more open you can make the ah, the more movement you can put into this exercise, the better. Because you want to train that movement in the back of your throat. That is what we want, the openness. There are non-open sounds in our language. I think in almost every language, really. It's not just all otherwise we'd just speak on there's all these other sounds also. However, in singing, we want to make it as singable and resonant as possible and not really distract the sound or hinder any good resonance from coming out. That's why it's important to practice that. So G and then ah and NG without moving the jaw, making the ah as open as possible. So usually what goes wrong is that it sounds somewhat like this. Gung, 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 which the ah is not very open. See how my tongue, I don't know if you can see inside my mouth right now, but it's like gung, 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 there's just a little movement. There needs to be a lot more movement. So it needs to be more like Gung, 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 gung. So don't think of anything fancy there. Very simple. It's really just to practice this opening. And the more you feel those muscles, even in the back of your tongue, of like really going down, the more you are getting a sense for where those muscles are actually located. So let's do the exercise and do the triad that then changes on the way down to another chord. So gung, 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 gung. I would suggest you try this in chest voice. I'm also coming up with some head voice exercises very soon, but this is going to be so much harder in head voice. So please do this exercise in chest voice first of all. We're going to do some head voice exercises at some point, but nasal sounds and head voice are so much harder even because there's less space yet and there's more pressure from the air coming through. So now the next element to add to this exercise, I'm really big on making exercises musical, to where they're not just exercises singing pitches, but to where you actually make music as if it were a song, okay? So instead of just gung, 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 I want to go gung, 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 gung. Gung, 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 gung. So make some crescendo in the upward movement and a decrescendo coming down. You're going to notice when you're singing the NG, there's more resistance, which is normal because there is a closed space now. It's like, so the buzz, the resonance comes a lot from this area now. Even your nasal. So you can sing through your nose without using the resonance of your nose, or that's when you're closing off your throat. It's just, it goes pretty much nowhere. Or you can use the nasal resonance to really add to the frequencies, to the overtones. And that is done by still keeping. See how I can still open or move or close my throat more, the pharyngeal area back there. So the closed NG is the first thing I'm doing, and then I'm doing the more open version, which is kind of contradictory, but it is a closed sound, but it's open or more closed. So closed, open, that's what I'll do now. Can you see this move a little? It's not my larynx. It's my pharynx. And when I go higher, it becomes more dramatic. It's like, it sounds so much better and it's easier to sing when I'm a little bit more open back here in my pharynx area. So try this, and you should, if you're doing it right, you should feel a buzz. It's like, versus you should feel it buzzing here a little bit. And of course, make nice phrasing. Phrasing is really important. I'm really big on phrasing. So now I'm ready to answer your questions. And yes, I love this idea of bootcamp here, because the idea of bootcamp is really to zero in on a very specific issue and go very deep. Really, really deep. Go like 100 miles deep. Get all the information you can get about this one thing and get really good at it. You're going to learn so much more than just kind of learning a bunch of things just on the surface. Try to go deep. I just want to remind you one more time that there are still some tickets available for my Master Your Voice live workshop that is going to be taking place in Germany, June 9th and 10th. That is a Sunday and Monday, but the Monday is a holiday here in Germany. So it's going to be in Tübingen, Germany. Go to my website, masteryourvoice.tv. MYV Live. That's the link you need to go to. And already there's a really wonderful group. It's for singers of all levels, all genres, all ages. We're going to have a really great time. So, okay, I'm ready to answer your questions. Let me see. Okay. It's Shure mic and a Sennheiser mic. You have that. Okay, that's really cool. Gerald is saying, hi, Gerald. I'm hopeless. I'll just stick to bass guitar. Those notes are too high for me. Yeah, don't sing my notes. Don't sing my notes. That's in my voice. I forgot to mention it this time, but I mention it every time. I can only demonstrate in my own voice. I don't have your voice. If you're a bass, I cannot sing bass. I just can't. So do it in chest voice, in your own voice, this exercise. Neo. Hi, Neo. I sound nasal while doing gung, gung, gung. Is it right? You should sound nasal on the part of it, but on the you shouldn't. So then that means you're not moving enough in, like the soft palate and the back of your tongue. Gung, 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 gung. Then it sounds all nasal. Gung, 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 gung. Doesn't sound nasal, but if I go gung, 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 gung. See, I'm not lifting a lot. I'm just kind of Lormil, it should only vibrate on the sinus, on the NG, right? Well, you feel it here, right? Like in this, like all the way from your nose here. That's where you really feel it. And it does vibrate a little bit in your mouth also. That's why it's really useful. See? Hold on, experiment. So, see how that changes when I change my mouth shape? Although this is closed back there, there are still sound waves coming through, right? Because the tissue itself does vibrate, and it doesn't really keep the sound waves from continuing on all the way. So even your mouth shape does also vibrate a little bit. So I always like the nasal sound when you go like this. So your shape of your mouth, your lips, does definitely even influence your nasal sounds. Thank you. I haven't really sung today, but when you sing a song, it's so important when you sing like, and I sing and I long for you, and I sing, yes I sing. There's a difference if I'm doing this or I'm not opening. If I sing, and I long for you. It's really different. It's so much less resonant and open when I don't open up. And when I don't shape my lips, that's another really important part of the equation, is really shaping your lips to where, it's not just but it's it does make a difference in the sound. Any more questions about today's exercise, or anything that has to do with today's exercise? I just love going deep. I have a lot of experience with a lot of these exercises because I have done them with a lot of my students over the years, and I have seen what can go wrong. And some exercises are easy for one person and then really hard for the next person. It's really funny how everyone kind of has their own things of what's hard and what's not hard. Sometimes I think something is really hard and then my student finds it not so hard. Or sometimes I think something should be really easy, but then they don't find it so easy. It's like a really big challenge. And it's really hard to tell because everyone is different. By the way, if you have not picked up my book, please pick up my book. You're going to totally love it. It's just a very motivational, inspirational book about singing, and it's gonna make you want to practice more and to do more and just to be better, master your voice. You can find it on Amazon. I also have an audiobook version on my website, masteryourvoice.tv. So let me know if you have any more questions now for the exercise, about the exercise today. Oh, it's getting loud. There's a trash truck coming outside, picking up the trash. So loud. Are there no more questions? Okay, if there's not, I will just end the stream for today. And I do hope you're going to be back next week. I'm going to do another exercise. And I don't know which one yet. I'm thinking maybe I probably should do a head voice exercise, and everybody should practice head voice. It doesn't matter whether you're a guy or a girl. Whatever you sing, you should not neglect your head voice. No more question. Everyone is thoroughly confused, or everyone is just like, perfect. I totally got it, and now it's perfect. That's awesome. Okay, do you have one more question, Neo? Otherwise, I will end the stream. Last question. I'm taking one more question, and then I'm going offline so that then you can go ahead and share with friends. For some reason, I couldn't sing as high in chest voice in this exercise than the last one. Yes, totally normal because you have nasal sounds, which does make it harder to sing higher. It's absolutely normal. Yes, I will totally talk about head resonance and head voice in the next few streams. So thank you so much. And I will hopefully see you next week. I'm going to keep this on Thursdays at this time, 12 noon Central European time. And then, of course, if you cannot make it live, you can always watch the replay. It's going to be on YouTube permanently. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye now.